Hello, Professor Chen's ENG101 class. This is Dan Calandra from the Mercer County Community College Library, here to help you find sources for your paper. So the paper that you are working on is sort of about climate change, but what it's really about is how people can be persuaded or convinced or essentially made to change their mind on a topic, how a dialogue can be created and people whose beliefs are not necessarily shared by one person can be maybe have their opinions or minds changed. So climate change is sort of the example, but the actual topic is how people basically change their minds or change their beliefs, and how that kind of occurs through persuasion, propaganda. But it's not necessarily kind of important. What we're interested in is finding out, though, the process that it is done by. And your professor uses climate change as just one example. So what you can do is if you take a look at the prompt, you can see here how we can have a dialogue with others who do not share our beliefs. So in this case, he's used articles that discuss climate change to essentially can talk about how climate change deniers can hopefully have their minds or opinions changed. So your keyword terms aren't necessarily about climate change, though it is a good way to illustrate this example of all this other stuff, right? So it's about communications, trust, narrative. Persuasion is a big one, persuasive arguments, changing people's opinions, beliefs, whatever it may be, okay? Uh, so you have to overcome certain things like confirmation bias or motivated reasoning. Okay, so people are only going to look with confirmation bias. They're going to look for information that backs up what they already feel. So they're going to go out and find quote unquote unbiased information that will just back up what they already feel. Okay, so this topic can certainly be a little tricky when we search for it. So I'll try to point out a few things and hopefully they will help you out. So again, if we want, we can take climate change would be just one example. We could do it on, any other sort of controversial topic. It could be student debt, it could be Medicare for all, it could be abortion. It doesn't matter. Climate change is the illustrative example, and it's the one I will use just because it's the one you've read about a little bit in your articles. And there's a lot of actual information on it, which is fairly interesting. And we'll take a look at a couple of them and see what we can find. Okay, so that's what we're going to do. Now, when we go into the databases, we're going to find two types of articles. We're going to find what we call popular or general interest sources. These would be newspapers, magazines, articles. So New York Times, Wall Street Journals, you guys are pretty familiar with those. The other thing we're going to find is something you may not be familiar with, and that is a scholarly source. A scholarly source is written by an expert. So it could be someone who's a climate scientist. It could be someone who is a psychologist. They write these articles. It then goes through a peer-reviewed process where other experts review the articles before they are published. So these would be really, really great sources for saying how beliefs work or how, for example, a narrative or a picture was used to change a person's mind regarding a subject. Now, as I said, if we just typed in persuasion or if we just typed in beliefs, climate change, whatever it may be, we're going to get lots and lots of search results. Just any one of these keyword terms would get us way too much. So what we want to do is we want to use the Boolean operator and. And is going to tell the database, find me articles about, climate change and persuasion. Find me articles about narratives and confirmation bias, whatever it may be. That's what we're going to do with and. That'll help us narrow down our search. All right, let's go take a look at the databases and see what we can find. So step number one is to head to the main Mercer website, www.mccc.edu. Scroll down, you'll see a link here for library services. And right on our homepage, we have our first database, MERSearch. What's nice about MERSearch is that it searches multiple databases at once. It'll also search through popular and scholarly sources as well. And I'll show you guys how to toggle sort of between the two sources. Okay, so here we can go ahead and let's just pick sort of our two big topics. We'll do climate change and we'll do persuasion. So if we go to our search here, I can type in climate change and persuasion. I'm going to look this up, spell this right. S-U-A-S-I-O-N. That should do it. Yep. So there's our search for climate change and persuasion, and it'll give us articles on both of those topics. And if you notice, we have quite a few, over 37,000. So that's a lot, okay? All right, couple things we can do. If we want, we can add in more keyword terms, right? We can go ahead and we can take one of these, confirmation bias, open-mindedness, whatever it may be. We can go ahead and we can add them in. We can also, if we know we want a specific type of source, see where it says scholarly peer-reviewed, we can click on that and it will just show us scholarly peer-reviewed sources, and you'll see it drops it down. And again, if you wanted articles from newspapers, there you can see newspapers. You click on more, you can find magazines as well. The other thing you can do is all of these keyword terms here, right? I'm not smart enough to come up with these on my own. So what I've done is watch TV. And on TV, there was actually a psychologist. He was on Bill Maher. He's at NYU. He talked about motivated reasoning. And I said, well, that's interesting. I wonder if there's other keyword terms that are similar that I don't know. And lo and behold, if you look in the database, see where it says here on the left-hand side, subject terms? If you click on more, it's going to show you a whole bunch of much more academic-y sounding keyword terms that you can use, like, for example, decision making, criticism interpretation. And you can scroll through and look at these and see if any of these keyword terms are interesting to you. And you can go ahead and you can click on them and it'll add it to your search, right? Here, look, perceptions. See, I would have never come up with that one on my own, okay? And you can go ahead and add them into your search. And it will help you narrow down your search result. Sometimes too, if you do a search here, I found one before. Let's see, look at this one, right? Remember my motivated reasoning keyword term? Look at this one, motivated rejection of science. That sounds interesting. Let's do that. I'm going to type in and motivated rejection. And I want to find that phrase, these two words next to each other, motivated rejection. And if you do that, you get a lot less search results. Look, I'm down to 18, and we can scroll through, okay? So we can go ahead and we can click on one of these articles. This one seems interesting. I'll click on it. When you click on that article, it's telling you here, look, it's actually going to, it's about science, right? But it's in the psych database. So I'll click full text online, and that'll take me to my article. When you get to your article, you want to take a look at the title, right? The authors and the source it comes from. What you want to spend some time looking at, though, is this, the abstract. The abstract is going to tell you in a couple of sentences what this article is about. So it's going to say, okay, here's what these authors discuss, here are the important points that they hit, and you guys can hopefully, based on that, figure out if this article is going to help you. And if it does, great. And if it's not, fine, go on to the next one. Okay? So let's pretend we like this article. It's good. Great, we can use it. Oh, one thing to note before we move on. Here, look at these keyword terms. Attitude, science, skepticism, social acceptance, right? Here's a whole bunch of keyword terms that the authors used for their article. So if you want, you can go ahead and you can click on one. It'll show you more, add it into your search as well. Okay, where's the article? Here, where it says PDF, click on that, and it'll take you to the PDF of the article. And you can scroll through it and you can read it. And there's the abstract again. And you can go and you can take a look and see if there's anything interesting on your topic. Okay, great. So from here, if you find something interesting, you can definitely want to save the article. Where's my save? There's your download. Okay. You have a toolbar here on the right-hand side. Also here on the detailed record, it's on the right-hand side as well. You have the ability to email these articles to yourself, send it to Mercer, Yahoo, Gmail. Just hang on to it. If you don't save the PDF, it's a good way to have a backup of it. And you can generate the citation. See where it says cite? If you click on that, it'll generate the citation for this article. And you can scroll through and find, there it is, your MLA formatted citation. Great. That'll save you lots of time. And you can go ahead and build your citation page rather quickly with that. Now, as I said, if you want, you can take these keyword terms, change them around, add, subtract, things like that. Try different databases to see what you guys can get. Okay. Chances are, if you find one good set of keyword terms, you'll be able to use it throughout a whole bunch of different databases. And again, too, even as you look at these articles, see here, look, climate skepticism. That looks interesting. okay, you can go and add that into your search for your other databases. So let's do that now. Here, we'll take this exact search, we'll copy it, we'll try some different databases. All right, so let's head here back to the main library website. Our other databases located here under the quick links section, specifically the databases by subject. I have found some good articles under the general section, specifically in Academic Search Premier as well as ProQuest Central. If you click on Academic Search Premier or ProQuest Central, you go to that database. Now, before you start searching in these two databases, see here where it says full text, you always want to click full text because that's going to give you a complete article, not just a citation or an abstract. So make sure you click full text. Then go ahead, here we'll plug in our search and see what we get. Okay, look, we just have that one article. Okay, great. Let's make it a little broader. We'll just do climate change and persuasion and see what comes up. Okay, there we go. Now we're up to 22. So look, here's another one, Policy Studies Journal. So look how different these two journals are. This one is psychology, this one's policy study. So political science, psychology. Look, here's one on the environment, okay? So there's a whole bunch. There's even a law review one as well. All right, let's go ahead and click on the communication one here, and you'll see it's the exact same thing because again, it's another EBSCO database. And you have your title, your author, the keyword terms, and again, your abstract, okay? So if we want, let's see, are there any interesting keyword terms here? We can go ahead and add it in, right? Scientific communication. Here, I'll take that one. I'm going to copy it. And I'm going to just plug it into a different database. So you can see these will work across databases. So here I'll go under ProQuest Central. I'll click on, yep, there we go. We want full text. If we want peer review, that's there too. Scientific communication. I'm going to say and trust, and I'll do climate change as well. So again, your keyword terms are going to work across databases. And if we look here, 87,000, a lot. So again, we would want to add in, like, let's say we did trust. What else do we have here for our keyword terms? Take a look. Here, let's do and confirmation. I'm just going to spell this right, confirmation bias. And again, I'm looking for a phrase because I want these two words next to each other. And look, now we're down to 518. The evidence for motivated reasoning in climate change preference formation. Okay. And again, what we're interested in is not necessarily the belief in climate change or the disbelief in it. What we're interested in is why, right, people tend to hold certain beliefs and how those beliefs can be changed, if they can be changed. Okay. It talks about climate change preference formations for effective communication. So that's what we're interested in. So this looks like a really good article. And there you can go ahead and you can scroll through it. Okay. Take a look at it. Hey, look at this math. I wouldn't worry about the math too much. Jesus, look at that. That's wow. Okay. I'm gonna not read that because that looks really complicated. So again, some of this stuff too, if you find a peer-reviewed one, it can certainly be over your head. One of the suggestions I can make is there's usually a discussion section or a conclusion section in these peer-reviewed articles where they will say, okay, here's kind of what the main points are, right? We conclude that second occurs, how do people write? So usually somewhere at the end they'll kind of give a summary where you don't have to like take a look at these insane mathematical formulas and just go nuts. Yeah, I don't know what the hell that means. I'm sorry. Okay, great. So you can do that. And again, you have your PDF, you have your cite button. Click on that, it'll generate your citation, and you can copy and paste that into your works cited page. So great. Again, you can scroll through any of our databases here, Academic Search Mirror and ProQuest Central. In addition to MERSearch, those are really good for finding articles on this topic that I have found. You also, if you scroll all the way down to the bottom, have two psychology databases. We actually wound up in one. We wound up in APA Psych articles. That's a good one to use. And the ProQuest Psychology journals, that's a good one to use as well. So all of these databases will certainly give you search results. And again, it doesn't have to be about climate change. It's about how people change their minds, change their beliefs. Okay? All right, I hope that helps. If you guys get lost or stuck, confused, please feel free to contact us. Send us an email do a Google Hangout with us if you are having trouble finding sources for this paper. We will do our best we can to help you. And if you need anything else, just let us know. Great, guys. Thanks. Bye.